Crystal Fisher has been extra AF for a real long time. Before we started being all cute and calling things extra, the other term was annoying. She has a long history of being completely fabulous and also painfully awkward with people. Life eating is about consuming experiences with little to no care about the consequences. She's a life eater. She's also an okay writer and loves all things that are nostalgic. She uses slap bracelets and click pens to work her way through years of embarrassing tales. She then speaks those memories aloud into a microphone in a crazy, never-ending, run-on sentence. In the end, we all get a laugh and start to think about our own experiences and the things that we used to know and love. Crystal Fisher is a storyteller. You can find Crystal and her stories wherever you listen to your podcast, as well as all the social media sites. Just search for Eat Life Podcast, where we consume experiences, forget the consequences, and eat life.
Thank you for letting us in.
I was burying bodies out in the desert.
Neighbors claimed they practice witchcraft.
Quiet. Everything will be fine.
So yeah, Tumblr porn going away.
Man, bummer.
It really honestly is. They are shooting themselves directly in the face.
Okay, so I don't really use Tumblr that much, but like, isn't the whole point of Tumblr porn? Like,
Porn-
isn't that literally like the whole point?
I mean, for the most part, porn, lewds,
Yeah.
nudes, dudes,
Boobs.
boobs. Yes, exactly. It's a big thing in the gay communities, especially. Lots of the gays use the Tumblr for the porn. But I will say this. We are getting some very excellent memes out of this.
That's true. I mean, it's going out with a bang. Like it's going out burning bright.
I'm just saying, one of my favorite memes is actually it's taken from American Horror Story from this last season. When, what's her name? Emma Roberts? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Emma Roberts. And you have to know it by context. In the show, she is about to die at this moment from the hands of the Antichrist. She recognizes that, so she turns around and she's like, I guess it's back to retail. Because that's her hell. When she goes to hell, she's in retail hell, which I feel in my soul. So just that meme of her, it's like scratched out, retail is scratched out, and it's like, guess it's back to Pornhub. I just absolutely love it. I feel like that's probably my favorite meme of 2018 right there. But it's a very sad day.
I just don't understand why, like, I don't understand why you would, as a Tumblr exec, decide to just, like, remove porn, because that's, like, your whole fucking audience. Like, who do you think is on Tumblr?
So what happened was some fucking person who posted some fucking kitty porn on there. And Apple freaked out and removed Tumblr from its, like, download platform service. So you, like, couldn't download Tumblr when you tried to search it.
Like as an app?
Yeah, as an app. So they completely removed it. And, but here's the thing.
I feel like overreaction.
So, yeah, that's kind of the consensus. It's like, so instead of, like, hunkering down on, like, your filters and your security features and, like, that stuff.
Yeah.
You're just going to... I can
You're
kill yourself.
Porn?
Like,
Nobody. I don't think anybody uses Tumblr for anything else.
No, not really. I mean, you get some fandoms, but
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah,
the gays are really upset.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure.
I guess we're back to Pornhub and Twitter. So
Twitter's about to get nasty, y'all.
Honey, it's already nasty.
Really?
December 17th. That's the date. So
Interesting.
Well, hello. How are you all doing today?
Maybe that's when the Haunted Heart launches our blogosphere. That's just called,
Oh my
you know, it's
God.
fine. I mean, comma, it's fine, ... And we just let you guys post all the nasty porn you want.
All of the legal,
But again,
like,
no kids.
no,
Still keeping the no kids rule.
right.
Very
exactly.
strict.
Exactly. That's what we're going to do.
And you know how some of those websites that are 18 and plus, like 18 and over, have like some of the brewery sites, you have to put in your birthday to prove that you're 18 to go in. But if you
Right.
can fucking do math, then you can beat it, because I've been beating it since I was like...
I mean, I was born in 1960.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, but we're not going to have that. We're going to have like actual like questions from like the 80s and 90s or whatever to prove that you are actually of age.
Question. What is a pog?
Answer that. Cheat on that.
What is a slammer? And you know, actually, who would know the answer to that?
Is the promo that we played at the top of the episode. Funny how that worked. Right.
Damn,
Ann.
that was a smooth slide.
Absolutely.
Fuck.
Always.
Smooth slide right on into that. Yes.
Like a slip and slide, some
Honey,
might say.
we had KY on that bitch.
No, the promo that we played at the top of the episode, it's a new podcast that we have discovered that we both love. And the host, Crystal Fisher, is so adorable. I just want to squish her.
Squish her?
Squish her in my bosom.
Just hold her right
wanna
there.
Squish her.
Just place her right there in between two
betwixt.
mountainous breasts and just smush.
Yeah, no, she's really cool. And it's just a very chill vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I listened to it on the plane. I had to fly to Arizona this past week. No blood clots, happy to report. But I was flying back from Arizona and I was exhausted. And I just put on her show because I had just, kind of gotten into it. And I put on the newest episode and it just kind of zenned me out. Like, it was very like, I'm down with the message of eating life. It's very like, I'm down with it. I would say I'm a life eater.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally a life eater. What I really appreciate about it is it's really heavily centered around nostalgia. And, as children of the 90s, we do love us some nostalgia.
Absolutely.
So there's lots of things that I find are completely relatable in the show. And it just, like you said, it's very calming. It's very chill. And I think they run about like
45 minutes?
or a little less than that. It's
Yeah.
like 28 to 30, 45
Really?
minutes sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just like a really nice,
More
quick dose
bite-sized,
of like,
if you will.
yeah, of nostalgia. So I definitely recommend heading over to check it out. You can follow Crystal on her social medias at Eat Life Podcast.
True. I think the Facebook is Eat Life Podcast and the Twitter is Eat Life 3 at Eat Life 3. So, yeah, check it out. You guys would probably like it.
Yes.
It's nice.
It is very nice.
It's nice.
We didn't plan this transition, though, did we?
No, we didn't. So, this week we are chugging right along with our lovely little Christmas theme. People say we can't do Christmas. Bitch,
Listen, I'm going to tell you what.
bitch. There's a Christmas tree in the corner. She might be black with blood red lights on her.
I'm going to tell you what.
She's still a Christmas tree.
Exactly. I saw an article the other day that was like, it was on Facebook, so you know it's real. Black Christmas trees are the new thing for this year, for 2018. And I'm like, please, I've had my black Christmas tree for like the past 3 to 4 years now.
Tell that to a gay goth, honey.
I'm just saying, black Christmas tree is the shit. It is versatile. It's your Halloween tree. And then it's your Christmas tree. It looks good with red. It looks good with white, silver, pretty much any color you want. We can do Christmas up in this bitch.
Like a REDRUM Christmas.
A REDRUM Christmas. A Christmas filled with murder. And blood. And murder.
Again. Yes. So this week we're going to cover 2 Christmas murders. And I'm going to go first. As
Wait,
I
why?
assertively mentioned at
Why?
the top of the episode.
I need to know why.
I don't know, because I'm excited about my story. I'm prepared. This is one of those weeks where I'm really prepared, and so I'm like, let's go. I'm ready to just knock it out of the
honey,
park.
if you are prepared, then please go first. Jesus Christ, because there's no telling what's going to happen.
I flew this week, so I had to do my thing where I get a middle seat on the plane.
Uh-huh.
And I get my computer out and I get it all up and I queue up all my Haunted Heart tabs. And then I just research a horrifically gruesome murder and a bunch of occult topics. I researched a couple of different episodes on that flight. And I scared the shit out of both of one guy, I think the guy to my left just totally went to sleep, super oblivious, worried about him in his life.
As we should all be.
Right, because he totally missed it. But the lady on my right, I think, was very increasingly concerned because as the topics that I was researching changed, because it was a 5-hour flight, so I had some time to really just dig into a couple internet holes, and it was an interesting journey.
Yes.
I think United was concerned if they were checking the Wi-Fi.
What is this bitch doing on the Wi-Fi? At least you weren't researching plane crashes.
It's true. That's very true. I do have a hard and fast rule about that.
I will say this. What is it with you and the desert? Why are you always going out to desert places?
The desert calls me.
I'm going to the desert. I'm going to California. I'm going to Nevada, Arizona.
Yep.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't ask questions.
It has been the year of the desert, though. It's interesting that you point that out.
I don't ask questions. I don't go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere.
I don't go places or do things.
You're a little bit more of a homebody.
I do like my home.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
All right. Well, want me to tell you something to make you nervous about your home?
Sure. Go right at it.
It seems that danger can find you even when you don't leave your home.
Oh, well, that depends.
On what?
On if you are the danger.
That's fair. Fair point.
I am the danger, so I have nothing to worry.
I am the danger. Kind of like I am the storm. I am the danger.
I am the storm.
Okay.
Murder.
So we're digging into my topic of the week.
Your taco?
My taco. Yep. We're digging right in.
Taco.
It's got mild sauce on it. Because I don't like it too spicy. All right.
As long as it's got sour cream. Is it supreme?
Yes, but without the tomatoes. They're squishy. I don't like them. So we have to get all our laughs out now because we're about to talk about the very tragic story of the Covina Massacre.
Oh, okay.
So let me set the scene for you.
Okay, set the scene. Scene is set.
On Christmas Eve in 2008, about 25 guests of the Ortega family excitedly filed into their suburban home located at 1129 East Knoll Crest Drive in Covina, California, a sleepy suburb of LA, for a Christmas Eve party. You can imagine folks heavily laden with gifts hustled in from the blustery, chilly, mid-70s California winter cold.
Yeah, for real.
As the guests gathered around, sharing in Christmas cheer, 45-year-old Bruce Jeffrey Pardo waited outside, dressed in a full Santa Claus suit. At around 11:30 a.m., Pacific Standard Time, Pardo knocked on his former in-law's door, carrying a gift-wrapped package containing a homemade flamethrower in one hand and a 9mm semi-automatic handgun in the other.
What the fuck?
3 other 9mm semi-automatic handguns were strapped to his body underneath the festive red Santa suit. Talk about a bowl full of jelly. I did write that myself. I'm pretty proud of it, actually.
That was okay. I'll give you that one.
So Bruce Pardo was not doing well.
You don't say.
His wife of only 1 year had settled for divorce on December 18th, 2008, just a week prior. The couple wed in January of 2006, and they had quickly grown apart. Pardo refused to open a joint bank account with his wife because he expected her to take care of her 3 children from a prior relationship with only her own finances.
Huh.
So he was that kind of motherfucker.
That's not how this works.
Right? You marry a girl that got kids, they're your kids now,
They're your
baby.
responsibility, motherfucker. Yes.
Right.
That's not how any of this works.
But he wouldn't get a joint bank account with her and told her that she had to use her money for her kids and none of his money would go towards her kids. So in June 2008, when divorce proceedings began, which is probably longer than I would have lasted, girl. The court ordered Pardo to pay Sylvia $1,785 each month in spousal support. And around this time, Pardo reportedly mentioned to a friend that his wife was, quote, taking him to the cleaners, end quote. In July of 2008, Pardo was fired from his job as an electrical engineer at some electronic systems firm for billing false hours, which further added to his financial issues.
For billing false hours.
So basically,
So
the
he
court
was-
told him that he had to pay her spousal support, and then he started, like,
Charging
overcharging.
extra.
Yeah, charging extra at work. Like,
He thought
billing
he
for
was
hours
being,
he didn't work.
Yeah, he thought he was being slick.
And that motherfucker did that shit for 1 month and then got caught. Come on. Come on.
Dude.
Not intelligent.
No.
So when the divorce was finalized on December 18th, Pardo was ordered to pay Sylvia $10,000 as part of their settlement.
Shit.
Yeah. Pardo became more and more bitter, arguing in a court declaration that Sylvia was living with her parents, not paying rent, and had spent lavishly on a luxury car, gambling trips to Vegas, and meals at fine restaurants, massages, and golf lessons. And who knows if that's even true? Because
Yeah, 'cause
clearly
you-
he's kind of a crazy man.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know, like, what the fuck he's gonna say, because he's
Right.
just gonna spout off random
Yeah.
shit.
I don't think that has really been...
She was buying groceries.
Right,
She had to
right.
buy a toothbrush.
Right. Like, she
Extra
probably needs a
shit.
car to get back and forth to
For
fucking
real.
work, dude.
Why was she buying gas?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what? No.
He strikes me as that type of motherfucker.
For
so.
real. We all know that man.
So that's kind of the background of what was happening. The pressure ratcheting up and up and up on Bruce Pardo. So as soon as the door of 1129 East Knollcrest Drive opened on Christmas Eve, Pardo's 8-year-old former niece, the daughter of Sylvia Pardo's sister, Letitia Józef Polski, ran towards him to greet him. Pardo immediately shot the girl in the face and then advanced into the room, and authorities believe he then systematically executed several party guests directly. Those 3 guests were Sylvia Ortega Pardo, his ex-wife, Alicia Sotomayor Ortega, and Joseph S. Ortega, his ex-wife's parents. Following these executions, Pardo then began firing indiscriminately at the rest of the 25 guests assembled there. After the shootings, Pardo unwrapped the package containing the homemade flamethrower and used it to spray racing fuel gasoline to set the home ablaze.
Holy fuck.
One survivor was able to call 911 after escaping to a neighbor's house. The resulting fire soared approximately 40 to 50 feet high and took 80 firefighters an hour and a half to extinguish. After the attack, Pardo put on his street clothes and drove his Dodge Caliber rental to his brother's house in Sylmar, about 30 miles away from the crime scene, where he was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Because that's how these fucking cowards roll.
So he committed suicide.
Yep. In his possession, though, was an airline ticket for a flight to Moline, Illinois. And I don't know where Moline is. I don't even know if you say it Moline. If you live in
Moline?
Illinois and you listen to the show, let us know.
Moline.
It's Moline. Moline.
Moline. Moline.
I don't know. Apparently, Pardo had called days before to tell a friend from high school who he had previously visited in October 2008 that he was planning to visit, but investigators were unsure if he actually intended to visit this person or if the flight was just to fool investigators. Like, the ticket was just to fool investigators. Portions of Pardo's Santa suit had melted during the flamethrower portion of his attack and had adhered to his skin, so not all of the suit could be removed.
What the fuck?
He had extensive third-degree burns on his arms as well, and police found $17,000 in cash clean wrapped to his legs inside of a girdle.
A girdle?
Yeah.
Why did
inside
he
a
have
girdle.
$17,000 strapped to his
Now
fucking...
I'm just gonna say, like, he only had to pay Sylvia $10,000, so you still had
Right.
$7,000 left after that, plus whatever you spent on this plane ticket to Illinois, which is probably a couple hundo, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could have just paid the $10,000 and been just not
Went on about your fucking
been a
life
psychopath.
instead of, like, busting in on someone's fucking Christmas Eve party and
Yeah.
murdering them all horrifically.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't understand people.
The rental car that they found him in had been rigged with remnants of his Santa suit that would detonate the car with black gunpowder if removed.
All right, so I'm confused. So his Santa suit had
like a detonator device that he had armed. So if they moved the car,
it would
explode.
blow up.
Yeah. But he was
oh.
already like shot. He had already shot himself dead inside of that car. He just had a lot of things happening. I feel like he had a couple different plans.
Damn, he was prepared.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. You, like you said, you had $17,000 in cash strapped to you. Girl, drop it off.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Right. Let it go. Girl, move on.
I mean, it ain't that serious.
So also recovered from the scene were 4 13-round capacity handguns that were totally empty and at least 200 rounds of ammunition. Later, at Pardo's house in Montrose, police recovered 5 empty boxes for semi-automatic handguns, 2 shotguns, and a container for high-octane fuel tank gasoline. They also found what was described as a, quote, virtual bomb factory in his home.
Okay. This guy.
He had a lot of problems. I'm just saying, like, ammunition, guns, virtual bomb factory. Kind of expensive, right? Like, why are you spending all your money?
I'm going to assume so.
Maybe you would have some money if you weren't fucking spending all your shit on
you weren't
these
spending
war
money.
toys.
It's like it's someone's mother. Hey, you'd have money if you weren't spending it on all them bombs.
Right?
Maybe you'd have a life if you weren't into all them bombs.
I mean, for real. Like, I don't know. He clearly he had a lot of issues.
He had bad grades because of them bombs.
Bruce Jeffrey Pardo was a bitter, broke bastard piece of shit.
I feel like one
Bottom
day
line.
I'm going to be described that way. A bitter, broke bastard piece of shit. God. You'll be the one to say it to me.
I'll let you know before then. No, he was. But this story is not about him. This story is about Sylvia Ortega Pardo, her family, and all the victims of this crime. 9 people died during or shortly after Pardo's melee attack. 3 were killed by gunshot wounds alone, and 4 others died from a combination of gunshot wounds and fire, while 2 others were killed by the fire alone. 3 others were wounded. The 8-year-old girl who was shot in the face had severe but non-life-threatening injuries. A 16-year-old girl was shot and wounded in the back, and a 20-year-old woman who suffered a broken ankle jumping out the second-floor window. A total of 14 children lost at least one parent in the massacre.
Oh.
We honor the victims of this massacre by listing their names here. Sylvia Ortega Pardo, Alicia Sotomayor Ortega, Joseph S. Ortega, Charles Ortega, Sherry Lynn Ortega, James Ortega, Teresa Ortega, Alicia Ortega Ortiz, and Michael Andre Ortiz. And that is the story of the Covina Massacre.
That's insane. So that's like, and it kind of goes back to what you said about sort of feeling safe in your home. And especially in an event, you know, like a family, like Christmas.
Gathering, a family get-together.
Gathering.
Yeah. Because there's a feeling of, like, as much as we shit on Christmas, there is, like, a feeling of cheer and of warmth and of, like, togetherness with your family, whether it's the family that you chose or the family you were born into. And for that to be so violated is, like, one of the scariest things that we can talk about, you know, like on this show.
Yeah, I definitely think it was, like, and the way that it was carried out with just, like, you had to go, like, you had to do the Santa suit. Like, you had to go there.
It was overkill.
Right.
It was totally, like, just that image of him, because, okay, so, Caitlin, family tangent. When I was a kid, we would get together at my great uncle's basement. We still get together there now. But as a kid, there was one of the neighbors would dress up in a Santa suit, and he would come in the back door of the basement, and he would bring like little gifts and stuff for us kids. And so it would make it special because myself and all my cousins, we would get so excited when this like person came to the door, because to us it was Santa. And like, I have that memory personally, so like that part of this story is just absolutely horrifying to me, because like I would have been that 8-year-old girl like rushing toward, like I understand her, her response.
Pretty much any small child
would
have that response.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's Santa coming up.
Right. Like that is just
And then to have that violated, I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully, I mean, she survived.
She did. She survived. So she was obviously shot in the face and wounded, but it wasn't life threatening, and they were able to, save her, and she lived.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And then just the thought of like what you mentioned with the bits of the suit,
Burned
like
into
burned
his skin.
into his
Yeah.
skin, like
Yeah.
that's like nightmare fuel.
Yeah. And I think that is an interesting metaphor given, like, clearly, so he and Sylvia had gotten married in 2006, and it had ended relatively quickly. They filed for a divorce in 2000. She filed for a divorce in June of 2008. So that's like, what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Like, for him to get so fixated on it and to not be able to, like you said, just move on is kind of, it's almost like the embarrassment of getting that divorce and going through that
Right.
just wouldn't let go of him and was burned into his brain the way that the Santa suit was burned into his flesh. You know what I mean? He just couldn't escape that. And so he let it destroy him. And unfortunately, he destroyed a family. Their 14 kids lost at least one parent. So
Yeah.
it's really horrifying. So, not to bring down the mood,
No,
but
not at all. Not depressing at all. But actually very depressing.
but actually,
depressing. Yeah. But you know what? I'm probably not gonna bring us up anymore either.
the Haunted Heart Podcast, the show where you get depressed and then you just get more depressed.
More depressed. Exactly. So yes, thank you for that. I didn't really, I had never heard of that case before. So that was really, terrifying, murderous Santa. So I also have murder. The Lawson family murders. So I know that this is a pretty well-known case for the most part, but I wanted to bring it to you guys because for me, this was something that it hit a little close to home, and I'll get into that a little bit.
Like, it happened like really close to where we grew up, right?
Yeah.
Not far from
Yeah.
where we grew up. So geographically, it's literally close to home.
Yeah, geographically, it's like literally
Because it was North Carolina, right?
close to home. Yes.
Okay.
So, Germantown, North Carolina, not town.
Germantown.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It was named Germantown because town was already taken. Oh. So they just took away the W.
Good. Sounds like North Carolina, girl.
For real.
Germantown, I think, is in Maryland.
And I think there might be also another one in North Carolina. I can't remember.
Oh.
But anyway.
Right.
The Germantown is not far from here.
Yes.
So it was established in 1790. It is the oldest community in Stokes County, and it got its name from an influx of German immigrants that had supported the American Revolution. Revolution. The American Revolution, and as such were given land as an incentive. Mm-hmm. Now, it's about 50 minutes northwest of Greensboro, actually.
Yep.
So, from where... I'm not from Greensboro. God damn, I can't talk today.
You literally cannot
Shit.
not say Greensboro.
Greensboro.
You always say Greensboro.
Greensboro. Anyway, it's about 50 minutes northwest of Greensboro. So it's not far from where I have previously lived. And in 1918, 3 brothers by the name of Marion, Elijah, and Charlie Lawson made the move to the Germantown area. Now, the immediate Lawson family had lived in around about the same area for a few generations up until about the 1750s when a William White-Eye Lawson.
White-eye?
White-Eye Lawson.
White-eye.
White-eye.
You think he had something wrong with his eye?
Well,
like he had one of the foggy eyes? And that's why they called him White-eye?
Well, listen, he was the son of John Black-Eye Lawson.
Interesting.
And grandson of William Falling River Lawson.
So it went like Falling River, Black Eye, White Eye.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. For those who may be inquiring, I am Kenny of the Walmart Shopping Straighters. So, Charlie was
And I am Katie of the Cracker Barrel aficionado.
the Cracker Barrel
Murray's.
So, Charlie was the oldest of the three brothers, and by 1918, he had married Fanny Manring and had several children. Like they did back in them days. They had some kids, honey.
You gotta love a woman named Fanny.
Fanny.
Fannies, they never do you wrong. You know what I mean? She gonna cook for you. She gonna care for you. She gonna bear you a couple children. Fanny gonna take care of you.
Yeah, Fanny's a caregiver.
Fanny gonna shade you in the summer, and she gonna keep you warm in the winter.
Amen.
Fanny, do you right.
Amen. Fanny, do you right. Now, the Lawsons were what we call sharecroppers. And if you were paying attention in American History 101, unlike myself, who was too busy doodling pentagrams and demonic faces in your notebook, then you'll know that sharecropping is when you cultivate a plot of land and then give a portion of the crop as rent.
Yes, and as speaking as the history major who was not doodling, because I can't draw worth a fuck, that portion of crops that you give as your rent is usually a big fucking portion. Like they make it sound like, oh, you just give like 15% of what your farm. No. You give basically everything, and then you live on like the 3 fucking turnips you have left. And you try not to starve.
Well, you keep this ear of corn, and I'll take the rest.
Yes, that's pretty much how it works. It was not a good system for the post-Civil War era South.
So in 1927, the family had actually saved enough money to buy a little farm on Brook Cove Road that had a little 200-year-old farmhouse attached to it. Quaint, nice.
Probably haunted.
Probably haunted. It's 200 years old. By all accounts, they seemed like a pretty typical, quiet farming family of the times. So it was unusual when about 2 weeks before Christmas, and this was something that when I was researching was kind of like split down the middle. Some people said it was 2 weeks before Christmas when the pictures were taken. Some people said it was the day of.
Yeah, I've heard it was the day of.
But from the more
2
reliable
weeks,
resources say 2 weeks.
2 weeks makes more sense, honestly.
Right, because I don't think Christmas morning
Who's taking pictures
who's going to be
Christmas
taking
morning?
pictures.
Yeah.
So I think it was I'm pretty certain it was 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah. I think the day of just makes it
sound
scarier.
yeah, exactly.
It's like the HBO movie version
Yeah.
of events, but it probably was 2 weeks.
Yeah. So Charlie took his entire family into the town of Winston-Salem and bought them all new outfits for a family portrait. Now, pictures at the time were, still pretty expensive, especially for people that weren't,
That were living off 3 turnips?
that were living off 3 turnips.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty fucking
They
pricey.
didn't have an extra turnip to give to the photographer. Mm-mm. No. That turnip had to boil in a pot many times.
Couple times.
Yeah, so especially working class farmers such as themselves, let alone all new outfits to accompany it.
Right. That sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, lots of money. Because remember, they had lots of kids.
Yeah, true.
So you had, clockwise from the picture, which you cannot see, but we'll post it. They had Arthur, who was the eldest son, who was 16. Mary, who was the eldest daughter at 17. And then in the picture, you have Charlie, who stood beside Marie, who was 43. Fanny was 37, who was holding her 4-month-old daughter, Mary Lou. And you had Carrie, who was 12, Raymond 2, Maybelle 7, and James 4. So
I told you, Fanny, gonna bear you some children.
She bared plenty of children, and like I said, that's a lot of clothes to buy.
It's true.
And back in the day, it won't just buy a t-shirt and pants. No, you were taking a picture, you had to buy the 3-piece suit, the vest, you had to buy the works, honey. Mm-hmm. So, they go, take their pictures. wait for them in the 1 hour photo 1 hour photo department. No, they didn't have those. Took much longer to get your pictures. On Christmas morning, 17-year-old Marie woke up and made her way into the kitchen to make a traditional raisin cake for the family Christmas. Their eldest son, Arthur, had been tasked with heading to town to purchase some ammunition for a father-son hunting excursion, and little Carrie and Maybelle were making their way to their uncle's house. The little farmhouse surely smelled of sweet, delicious, warm cinnamon as Marie added the final touch of raisins to her beautiful Christmas cake.
Ugh.
And
Ugh.
I love it.
I hate a raisin.
I love raisins.
I hate a raisin. Ugh.
I hate you.
It's like if like rat poop was like a candy.
Oh, I love raisins.
I hate a
They're
raisin.
Great.
Making a cake and then putting raisins on it is just like horrible to me.
No,
Such a
delicious. You don't know what you're talking about. So perhaps the gunshots that echoed shortly after didn't warrant much of a worry. After all, there was a hunting outing being planned, or maybe she just didn't hear it. But a gunshot directly on the front porch caused Marie to scream. It was at that point that she probably told her 2 younger brothers to hide, and as they did so, another shot killed Marie instantly.
in the house?
Yes.
Oh shit.
The 2 boys attempted to hide, but were soon found and also shot. And in the bassinet laid 4-month-old Mary Lou, no doubt crying from all of the commotion, looking up at her father, Charlie, just before he bludgeoned her to death.
He didn't shoot her.
He bludgeoned her.
Oh no.
He bludgeoned her. After the murders, Charlie gathered the bodies of his mutilated family and rested their heads on blocks with their arms folded over their chests. He then proceeded to make his way into the woods, where he would remain for some time. The first to discover the bodies were Charlie's brother, Elijah, and his sons, who had decided to stop by after an early morning hunt to wish the family a Merry Christmas. Charlie's wife, Fanny, had been shot in the chest on the porch, and the bodies of little Carrie and Maybelle were found in the tobacco barn adjacent to the house. They had been not only shot, but bludgeoned as well. One could only assume for preventative measures, or because they were still breathing,
Right.
or still alive, and
Right.
so he proceeded to bludgeon them to finish the deed. And then, of course, you had Marie around about in the kitchen area and the kids and the baby who were hiding. So the only one missing, of course, was Charlie. But about a couple hours after the discovery, a shot blasted out from the woods. The sound alerted the relatives, and they were able to track the sounds of Charlie's hounds to his body. No note had been left as to why he committed the murders, but a pacing in the ground told that he had been contemplating his actions and suicide for some time. The bodies were buried together, with an estimated 5,000 people attending the funeral.
Damn, that's a lot for back then.
For North Carolina, at
Yeah.
that, yes, it was
That's
about
a lot.
5,000 people attended the funerals. So one can only wonder why. What would possess a husband and a father to just completely annihilate his own family?
Annihilator, yeah.
So there were a number of rumors that spread around. I mean, we're talking small town North Carolina, so you know that like rumors
Yeah.
flew like the wind. Some speculated that he actually did not murder his family, that it was kind of staged to look like he had and had committed a suicide. People say that it was an organized crime incident, like, you know.
But what kind of organized crime were they part of?
Who knows? That was one theory.
Okay.
And, you know, that they were involved in something and his family had been murdered for it, and it was staged to look like a murder-suicide. Another involves a man that Charlie had started a fight with and possibly came back for revenge. None of the rumors really seem plausible. or fit with any of the facts.
Yeah.
All of the signs obviously pointed to a murder-suicide.
Yeah.
But there is one theory that cropped up. Anyway.
Nice.
So it was not until the book White Christmas, Bloody Christmas was published in 1990 that a strong claim surfaced. On interviewing many people regarding the Lawson family murder, the book's authors, Bruce Jones and Trudy J. Smith, found that several people recounted rumors and stories regarding Charlie, his daughter Marie, and incest. In 1989, the authors had received a call from an anonymous woman. She said she had gone on a tour of the Lawson home shortly after the murders, and the tour guide had told about the incest rumor, which he stated as fact. The day before the book was to be published, the authors received a phone call from Miss Stella Lawson, daughter of Marion Lawson and cousin to the Lawson children, who had already been interviewed for the book. On this occasion, she told them she knew the truth as to why Charlie did it. Stella said that at the funeral for the Lawsons, she had overheard Fanny's sisters-in-law and aunts, including her own mother, Jettie Lawson, discussing how Fanny had confided in them that she had been concerned about Charlie and Marie and some relations that may have been going on. Now, Jettie died in early 1928, meaning Fanny had been suspicious of the incest at least that long before the murders in 1929.
So she had been suspicious for at least a year or so.
Yeah.
Oh.
For at least a year.
That's the worst kind of relations, too. Relations between relations.
Yeah.
That ain't the kind.
Maybe the most convincing evidence yet came from a close friend of Marie Lawson's, Ella May. She claims that just weeks before Christmas, Marie told her that she was pregnant and that it was Charlie's. Ella May also said that Charlie and Fanny knew about this. There was another gentleman by the name of Hill Hampton, who was another close friend and neighbor to the Lawson family, who was interviewed, and he said that he knew of serious problems going on within the family and that he knew the nature of the problem, but that it was personal and he chose not to reveal what it was. So that's sort of the theory that is sort of widely accepted.
I mean, it makes sense because if you have something that's time sensitive like that, where she's pregnant, people are going to want to know who she's pregnant by and who's the baby is.
Right.
And, there's a potential that the baby might have some pretty significant problems.
Right.
That would ratchet up the pressure on him to do something to avoid all of that.
Right.
Like murder your whole fucking family because you're an idiot and you abuse your children.
Exactly.
And you don't want everybody to know.
In the picture of the family that was taken before Christmas, you can see Marie in the picture, and you can see her torso and her stomach area, and it doesn't she doesn't look
pregnant,
but the way that her dress does fit a little tight. When I was looking at the picture and I was looking at really good quality versions of the picture, the dress around her stomach area did look rather tight and
is this
pulled
one of these
together.
Beyonce things where we trying to guess if B is pregnant?
Yeah, it kind of is because it looks like. I can't say, but some people
girl, maybe she
have
just
guessed
had a
that
second helping of raisin cake
she
that
did.
day, girl.
Maybe she did, but some people
could say that about me.
Some people say that she could have looking at the picture that she could have been at least 2 to maybe 3 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't fully out there, but
right,
that 2 to 3 months, you kind of look like you might be gaining some weight, but
yeah,
but not we'll probably never know.
Thank you. Thanks.
So in the aftermath, shortly after the murders, Charlie's brother, Marion Lawson, opened the home, as it's just stated, on Brook Cove Road as a tourist attraction.
Yeah, that's a little fucked.
He charged 25 cents a pop to view the home. Always have to love an opportunist.
He said, we about to monetize.
I mean...
He said, you can check us out at patreon.com.
Yeah.
The first true crime fanatic.
That's exactly what he did. He was trying to make
We can't even judge his ass
money.
either, because we would do that.
I mean, just saying. The cake that Marie Lawson had baked on Christmas Day was displayed on the tour.
Wow.
Because,
Did they like Mod Podge it?
No. Well, no.
To preserve it?
No.
Girl, how you gonna keep that?
So, because visitors began to pick at the raisins on the cake to take as souvenirs, it was placed in a covered glass cake dish and thus preserved for many years.
Wow.
So they covered it in glass.
Is it still there?
So, well, I'm getting into that.
Sorry.
So, the only surviving
I'm fucking
child...
ruining your writing here.
The only surviving child, Arthur, who was the one who had been sent on an errand to get ammunition prior.
And did Charlie send him?
Yes. Charlie
Huh.
sent him.
So Charlie sent him away.
Charlie sent him away
to
specifically.
like save him.
So he lived on to marry and have 4 children, but unfortunately died in a freak automobile accident 15 years later.
Can you fucking imagine being the one survivor of like your father murdering your entire fucking family?
Yeah, it's...
Can you imagine like the survivor guilt that poor man must have had?
Well, just imagine, like, he went into town to get,
Ammo.
ammo, run an errand.
Right.
And
that
then
his dad sent him on and then came
yeah.
back and everybody was... Oh,
Yeah,
God.
so he, his uncles found them first and then, like, essentially had to, like, drive and get him and bring him home after the fact. So just imagine leaving your family and everything's fine. Your sister's baking a cake and then, like, a couple hours later coming back and they're all mutilated and dead and your father is the one who did it and he has committed suicide and you don't know why. But back to the cake. Always back to the cake. So I actually, there was a documentary that was made by Break of Dawn Productions, I think in 2006. I really wanted to watch it, but could not find it anywhere except for Amazon. And it was $35 for the hard copy. And I could not find it anywhere to watch online. But I did find the Facebook page for the production company that created it. And they did leave an interesting comment that I thought was kind of funny. They just mentioned that the story or their documentary had got mentioned in the New York Daily News. But, and this is a quote from their Facebook, but actually many death cakes were made over the years, and the murder raisins off them were sold for 10 cents a piece during the house tours that helped prop up Stokes County's tourist economy throughout the Great Depression.
Interesting. So they were just making cakes.
They were making
and
cakes.
putting them. Okay, all right.
They were making fresh cakes and putting raisins on them.
I mean, girl, because I was thinking, if you don't Mod Podge it, that cake ain't gonna last. Cake don't last in this house more than like 3 days, girl.
No, it does not.
You gotta Mod Podge it.
It does not. And then you might be wondering what happened to the murder weapon.
The guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gun.
What
the shotgun.
What happened to the gun, Kenny?
So during these tours, there was a gentleman who was one of the tour givers. The family did not want any of, like, they didn't want the gun. I guess they thought it was in bad taste to have the gun around.
Yeah. I would.
But not in bad taste to have people come through the home.
Right.
We just don't want the gun around. See, and I don't understand that. I would want to have the gun there.
Really?
That would bring in more people would want to see it.
Oh, yeah, you're enterprising.
But anyway, yes, always a Slytherin. Anyway, so the man's name was Samuel Walker Hill, and like I said, as the story goes, the relatives decided they didn't want the guns used in the murders around. So one day they started a bonfire and threw the family's clothes and guns into it. Hill apparently fished out the shotgun and took it home.
You guys can't
Back
see, but Kenny
then-
just shot me like the most satisfied Slytherin look ever.
and took it home. Yes, because back then, a gun was money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Hill passed it down to his son, who in turn passed it on to his son, who then in turn passed it on to his daughter, who didn't seem to think that having the gun was a big deal. And this lady's name is a Shirley Madison, Shirry.
Oh, the best kind of sherry.
Yes, and she currently owns the gun.
Interesting.
She said that when she was a little girl, she actually used it to shoot mistletoe out of trees. And as an adult, she kept the 12-gauge shotgun in a gun case and didn't say much about it. Nobody asked me, and I didn't tell them, she said. One day, about 1.5 years ago, her daughter, Angie McAllister, happened to mention the gun to a Maria Hodges, who had been a student of the killings for some times. And so now the gun has sort of become like one of the artifacts associated with the killings, and there was actually they do sort of like a museum, like they've got different things that they pulled together. So she still has the gun, but they like bring a picture of it. Like she brings a picture of the gun because she doesn't want to
bring
want to bring the
I can
actual
see that.
gun.
Bad juju.
But they bring the like they have the stones that were used that he used to prop the heads up. And the picture of the gun, picture of the house, different things like that. Which I thought was really interesting. And the one thing that I could not figure out, and the one thing that really sort of confused me the most about the murder was, why did he send Arthur away?
Right. Why save one?
Why?
Yeah.
Which was something that a lot of people questioned as well.
Right.
And some people say that he couldn't have done what he did with Arthur there, and that
Arthur might have fought him.
would have fought,
Yeah.
and stopped him.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking.
But that's what I thought too. But if you have a shotgun, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but he's
and-
older and more
and-
feeble than.
yeah, but Arthur wouldn't have been expecting it.
True.
He could have easily
maybe he
taken-
wanted one son to live on so that he didn't
Well, that's another
take
theory
his whole
too.
family out.
That's
that
another
he was still
theory too.
fucking narcissistic enough to want
Exactly.
the family line.
Because
to,
to
go on.
me, like
Ugh.
in that state of mind, you would want to take out your strongest opponent first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you would have taken out Arthur first, or at least it would have made the most sense to me, because it would have been unsuspecting.
Yeah.
Take him out and then go after, the little girls and all of that.
Yeah. As horrible as that sounds.
As horrible as it sounds, but I mean, in the mind of a killer,
Yeah.
that's what would make the most sense. So, and again, some people said that he wanted his name to continue on, but you never really know what he was thinking.
Or it could have been that he sent Arthur away to take care of the rest of the family, and then he went into the woods to wait for Arthur to come back, and then he just like paced and lost his shit.
Yeah, I mean,
because
he
of
could've-
everything he had done. He could have been planning to take Arthur out too, but just lost his shit and killed himself
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, there's another theory that claims that Arthur may not have been his actual child. That and so that's why he didn't kill him, because he wasn't like a part of his family. Like Fanny might have had an affair.
Yeah.
That was another theory that was thrown out, but
I don't believe that of Fanny.
I don't.
Fanny couldn't do that. She's Fanny.
She's Fanny. She's Fanny. This is true.
Well, that's
So
fucked.
yeah, that's kind of the case. There's actually and there's some spooky things that actually happened. The house has been torn down for many years now. But a lot of people say that some of the old barns are actually still around that the Lawson family used on their farm. And I found one comment actually on a YouTube video that says, I lived on the Lawson property for a few years beside Hampton Road off Brook Cove. There are tobacco barns still standing that were used by the Lawsons and other farmers. My friend's family owns most of the Lawson family's land. Stella Bowles, who helped write the book White Christmas, Bloody Christmas, was my babysitter as a child. And I heard the stories growing up. She was Charlie Lawson's niece. I have seen many unexplained things some nights on the farm. And apparently there's like local ghost stories that on this stretch of road at night, you can see the ghost children of the Lawsons. And the family itself, a lot of people just claim to see lots of really weird things around the Lawson family plot because they were actually all buried together.
Like in one grave?
Yes.
Ooh.
They dug one large trench and put all of the family members in there.
Him too?
Him too.
Ooh.
Resting right beside his wife.
Ooh.
And the 4-month-old baby was actually buried with Fanny in her arms.
Oh.
But they're all buried under the same plot. And a lot of people experience different things. I thought I actually had a really interesting clip because someone went and took an EVP.
Oh, cool.
But I was listening to it, and I think the EVP was completely fake as fuck.
Yeah.
So I didn't post it. I was really excited because it was supposed to be about a ghost kid voice saying something like shotgun, but it just seemed too fake.
Seems
to me.
too on the nose.
Yeah, it seemed too on the nose, but you never know.
Yeah, maybe we can get down there and do some exploring. It's not that far.
Not at all.
That might be cool.
So,
all right.
that's
a huge bummer. That's a bummer on top of a bummer. That was like bummer raisins on top of a bummer cake.
Yeah, I just wanted to I tried to bring in, like I said, I know that this case is sort of covered quite frequently, but I was trying to find different little elements to bring in, like, what happened to the shotgun, like what happened to the murder weapon, like these extra things. And I really, 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 if I can get my hands on the documentary somehow, I do want to watch it because from the trailer to the documentary, they sourced a lot of interviews from local people who knew the family or whose relatives knew the family. And so there seemed to be a lot of like personal accounts that they were going through, which I really wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Cool. Yeah, we don't have the Patreon money for that $35 documentary.
For the $35 documentary, no. I tried pirating it online, but couldn't find it.
Don't admit to that in public.
I did not try to pirate it.
Good.
Not at all. I did not try to Google search the movie on Put Locker.
All right. Well, speaking of Patreon, if you want to join our Patreon and you want to get extra exclusive bonus content that we only share for Patreon folk, head over to patreon.com/thehauntedheart. You can see all kinds of like bloopers and like bonus content. I think we even did like a couple makeup tutorials for this like month, which is really fucking funny.
Non-makeup tutorials, Katie.
Yeah,
non-makeup makeup tutorials.
Non-makeup makeup tutorials. They're pretty fucking funny. But yeah, so it's pretty fun over there. So you can head over and become a monthly supporter of the show there. We are truly very thankful for all of our Patreon folk. You can also talk with us on Facebook in our Facebook group. If you search the Haunted Heart Podcast on Facebook, you can request to join the closed group. It's a closed group for your privacy so that your friends and family don't have to see all the spooky shit that you post and who you really fucking are. You don't have to alarm Aunt Judy over her morning cup of coffee as she scrolls through Facebook. You just request to join. We will approve you unless you are a ghost or a serial killer. Ghosts, maybe. Serial killers, probably not. And
ghosts of serial killers, definitely not.
Definitely not. On Twitter, you can find us at The Haunted Heart. And on Instagram, you can find us at The Haunted Heart Podcast. We are stepping up our social media game.
Are we?
We are. So
Ooh.
Make sure that you are following us on all 3 platforms because it's different content on each platform. And if you could go on Facebook and if you search The Haunted Heart, you can like our page. Please go do that. The Facebook group and the Facebook page are 2 separate entities. And we need likes on our Facebook page because we have like a bunch of people in our group and our Facebook page is like sad. So if you could do that. Also, if you have any stories or things that you would like us sort of like tangentially related material that you want us to talk about on the show, shoot us an email at stayspooky@thehauntedheart.com. Now that's a different email address, so I'm going to say it again. Stay spooky, all one word, at thehauntedheart.com. You can send us stories that are related to a case that we covered, stories that are related to a phenomenon that we covered, anything. I know there's a lot of people who are listening through the backlog. So if you want to send us something that we covered, something that's related to something that we covered a while back, that's fine too. We don't mind. We love listener emails, so please send us some so that we can read them on the air. And that way you can get on the show.
You can send me a story about how your day went. I would be happy with that too. I might email you back with how my day went. It'll be a beautiful thing.
Might become pen pals. Yeah. So, other than that,
is that your spiel?
I think that's the spiel. I think that's everything. Other than that, we hope that you guys are having a fabulous Christmas and a lovely holiday season. We know the holidays can be kind of rough on folks, so just make sure that you take time for yourself.
That's important.
And just take time to center yourself, whether it's sitting down and listening to the show that helps you center yourself, or whether it's like having a cup of coffee in the morning with like just
the
in
show
total silence.
and like
No, seriously. Like however it is that you come back to yourself, whether it's like through yoga or meditation or having your cup of coffee in the morning or having your tea
or witchcraft
or whatever it is that you need, baby. Like make sure that you make time for that this holiday season.
blood sacrifices to the full moon.
It can become really stressful, and family's great, but family is sometimes a source of significant mental issues, and we don't want you to end up like anybody that we talked about today on the show.
Exactly.
So make sure you take time for yourself, baby. And until next time, stay spooky.
Hey guys, we just wanted to pop in quickly and give a shout out to all of the people who support us on the Patreon and help keep this trash talent afloat.
First up, we have our Haunted Heart Harem, Brett R.,
Alyssa B.,
Donna and Carrie from A Paranormal Chicks podcast,
and leading our Stay Spooky squad, Dale M.,
Sarah G.,
Nicole S.,
Laura L.,
Katie L.,
John B.,
Alicia C.,
Heather S.,
Denise S.,
Denise C.,
Chris S.,
Christy W.,
Amy S.,
and now we have our Cannibal Cult members, Melissa B.,
Katie L.,
Jenny G.,
Holly B.,
Danielle Z., or as you know her from her Patreon thank you video, Danielle Zaddy,
Zaddy, Chris C.,
Ashley B.,
Amanda F.,
and Allie A.
Now going into our hashtag Trash Talent Aficionado, Megan H.,
Paige S.,
Kristen H.,
and now we have our one and only Minister of the Macabre, Whitney Z. Thank you all so much for your support of the show. It truly means the world to us. We couldn't do it without you.
And if you'd like to fill the spot of the head witch in charge, you should head on over to the Patreon.
And check it out.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of cool shit there. Thank you guys for all you do to support the show, and we will see you next week. Until then, you know what to do. Stay spooky!